What's going on, y'all? What's going on? We're gonna wait a couple minutes here and go ahead and break some stuff down. Yeah, but we're about to break down all the charts from yesterday in a little bit. We're going to go over our projections from yesterday, break down what took place yesterday, and then, of course, go over what we see going down today. All right, we got some more news today, though, going into New York session. We got the infamous earnings, employment change, and unemployment rate. Going to go live with the members of students during that. So members of students, make sure to be on the lookout for that link when I send that out. But we got some action right now, y'all. We got some action. All right, let me know how we sounding, y'all. Let me know how we sounding. New 5 minute just popped up. Just dropped a new video yesterday, y'all. Make sure to check that out after the live if you have not already. It's clear. All right, perfect. Yeah, so we're going to break some stuff down in a second. So if y'all haven't already, I want y'all to watch, whether y'all follow me on Instagram or TikTok. If you don't, make sure to follow me on one of the two, if not both. Y'all see them scroll at the bottom of the screen, but make sure to check out my story because I literally posted and documented a little bit of this, but I posted and documented this whole GN setup, right? And again, this is the same thing that took place the day before. So we're about to break this whole thing, right? I traced all day yesterday and then just flew to the upside last night, right? So we're going to break this shit all the way down. So first things first, if you have not hit that first link in the description, join the free signal for Telegram, make sure to do so, y'all. Again, we got 25% off sale on everything, but that's not what we're going in here for. All right, make sure to watch the Sunday chart analysis. You see the date, okay? In the Sunday chart analysis, what did we talk about? We said we was bullish on GN, right? We said we had reversal territory, less price on GJ, broke and held 192.10, 192.5 as resistance. The downtrend will not come into play. What did we see here? Price shot to the upside, but as you can see here, rejected that level, went back into the reversal territory. And now what do we see? We see the downtrend came into play, right? We see the reversal, and now we see the downtrend came into play. Again, watch the Sunday chart analysis. Did I not say that in the Sunday chart analysis? Let me know if I'm lying. Let me know if I'm a liar. All right? What did we say with NAS100? We said that we were in a downtrend and we're still looking for sales. We needed to hold what? 19,470, 19,460 as resistance. Did we end up doing that? Yes, we did. Did the downtrend continue this week? Yes, it did. Right? Again, check the Sunday chart analysis. We broke this down at the beginning of the week. Like I always say, it goes over not just what we see happening Sunday night going into Monday, but it's the projection of what we see going on throughout the entire week. What else do we say about gold? We said we were still looking for buys, right? And we all watched yesterday's live stream. What else we said? We said, don't be too shocked or surprised that we see a retracement happen, but we're still bullish. So what happened? We did see a retracement happen. But then look what happened after all the news. The bullish momentum came back into play, right? GU, again, y'all in yesterday's live stream, what did I say? I said, do not be too shocked or surprised if we see what? Either a normally large candlestick, which we see, but also I said, don't be too shocked or surprised if price ends up retracing or consolidating. We can clearly see by this wick that price did, in fact, retrace, right? You can see here again, flew all night. See London session going into pre-New York. And what happened in New York session? Consolidation and then the retracement reversal. Again, we literally broke this down in the live stream yesterday. Right, so we opened the live stream yesterday. Y'all saw me break this down and say this was going to happen, right? Again, do I got a crystal ball? Do I got our favorite president on speed dial right now? No. So how do I know all this stuff is going to happen? By simply understanding the rules of price and following the playbook. Right? It's very, very, very simple. So we're going to get rid of this because we no longer need to look at buy sells. All right. GN, same thing. All right. What did we talk about all this week? We're talking about, oh, I got to get the playbook back out. Yeah. I got to get the playbook back out. Again, y'all, if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. We're looking at any charts, drop in the chat. But we're about to break all this stuff all the way down while we're looking at some setups, y'all. So give me 1 second. The new 15 just popped up. So as far as what we're looking at right now, before we break down what took place last night and yesterday, we're going to be looking for continued NAS sales. Again, we do got news today at 8:30. Going to be going live with the students during that. We also have, I did not see this. We also have 11:25 news event. We got a Fed speaking, so make sure to keep those times in mind. All right. So as far as what we're looking for today, we're going to be looking for continued NAS sales, right? So if NAS can break and hold 18,440 as resistance, we could look for sales going down to 18,300, 18,290. Or if price could retrace and retest 18,620 and hold that as resistance, we can still look for continued sales. All right, so that's what we're looking at with NAS100. Gold, we're still going to be looking for buys. And now again, we have a little bit of work to do for a new higher high and the uptrend to continue. All right, so for that to happen, we still need to hold 31.22, 31.24 as support. So if we can't hold that level as support, we're going to be in a little bit of reversal territory because we do have some exhaustion to the upside, especially because we failed to hold that level as support, as we can see here with the big push yesterday. But we are, as we see here, respecting still 30.96, which is a good sign. But again, we still need to break and hold this level here for the uptrend to be back into play. So again, I wouldn't look for sales on this as of yet, but again, it's still important to understand what needs to happen for the uptrend to continue. So we see GUs just reversing, still retracing, which is fine because we are still in an uptrend, but we just had a higher high get made. And as we know, after a higher high comes a higher low. So if price cannot hold 30.60 as support, it could retrace even as low as 30.05. As long as it holds this resistance level as the support, we're still bullish. So again, I'm just going to let price retrace, but I'm not looking for sales on GU anytime soon. It's still bullish, but again, we had a big push the past couple of days, so a retracement is normal. GJ, we're going to be looking for sales, right? Because we broke this level, so now we're looking for sales. And as we can see, that thing dropped. Not just all day yesterday, well, all New York session yesterday, but then that thing dropped all last night as well. And then we can see we just broke another level here. So we could hold 190.60 as resistance. We can look for continued sales going to 190. All right, y'all. Or if we want to retest and retrace up to 191.35, we can look for sales there still as well. All right. Now, let's go ahead and break all this stuff down, right? So if y'all just joined the live, I recommend rewinding to the beginning, okay, because we just broke down what we're about to get into right now, all right? Again, I always say there's rules, the price follows, and we saw that stand, not just this week, but we especially saw that stand with GN and GU yesterday, right? So we're going to break GN down, right? Because I know a lot of people are probably confused why price shot up. So we're going to break this thing all the way down. Got a new video dropping for y'all today as well, y'all. So make sure to have y'all's notice on YouTube. All right. Dropped a new video yesterday also. So after the live stream, make sure to catch up to the videos, especially catch up to them this weekend. All playlists are up to date. Yeah, we're about to break this down right now. Make sure to like the live too. I appreciate all the likes. All right, so let me bring this book out. I forgot I did this scribble the other day. That's doing too much right now. All right, let me bring the book out so we can understand why price did what it did. Let me bring the book out. All right, so we're going to get rid of. So again, in order to understand why G is doing what it's doing now, you have to understand what brought us to this point, right? So that's what we're about to break down right now. We're going to break down what brought us to this point. So again, we're just going to rewind to the beginning of the week. Okay, so this was Friday last week, so we're at the beginning of the week, so we're about to break this whole thing down, right? So again, you watch any of my trade breakdowns. Let me make sure we're sounding good. Let me put my YouTube on, so I don't want to start cooking and you can't understand me. So make sure we sound good. One second. Okay, we're sounding good. Cool. So you watch any of my trade breakdowns on YouTube. What's the first thing we have to do before we take a setup, before we enter a trade, whatever? What's the first thing we have to do? We have to identify the trend. All right. So again, we have the uptrend, and then we have the downtrend, right? So looking at price right here, which one of these two cycles do you see? Do you see the uptrend or do you see the downtrend? All right, looking at price right here, which one of these? This is how price looked at the beginning of the week for Sunday. Candlestick on the Monday. Before markets open, this is how price ended last Friday, last week, right? So looking at price right here, which one of these two cycles do we see? Do we see an uptrend or do we see a downtrend? All right, we got GJ testing this level. Let's see what else we got going. All right, so hopefully we all see an uptrend here, right? See an uptrend going on. So since we see an uptrend going on, that means we need to look for buys, right? So again, we can break this down as well, right? So what's the rules to the uptrend since we see that we're in an uptrend? Let's pull out the playbook and see what the playbook says. Where is it? Find it really quick. Here it is. It says, in order for the uptrend to continue, we need to what? Break past the previous high, which gives us a new higher high. We also have to respect the support level the higher level is resting on, right? It also says rejections and reversals happen, but a reversal doesn't always mean the trend is going to change. As long as price doesn't turn what the support level into a resistance and or make a lower low, we're still in an uptrend and still only looking for buys. So again, we broke this down when this reversal took place, right? That's why I always say this is reversal territory. Well, we need this to happen or this to be held as support or resistance for the uptrend or downtrend to come into play. Because again, it's very important that we understand that, right? So again, we had a higher high, then we had a reversal. But when price retraced, did it hold this support level as resistance? No, it broke back above it and held it as support again, right? So again, we had this support level right here, right? We have the support level right here. Let me make it bigger, pause. And we see here when we get rid of these arrows, that price did not hold this level as resistance and give us a lower low. Do we see that happen? No. Right, this is why I always say you can't just focus on a candlestick or pattern, because those candlesticks and patterns are on every trend. They also be reversals, retests, all that good stuff. So again, we see here that we did not hold the level as resistance, which is why the bullish momentum came back into play. We see the same level got turned back into support, right? We can all see that. So again, this is why it's important to not try to catch every candlestick or pit, but to follow the flow of price and trust the playbook, right? So again, we saw that happen. So check, price is still respecting that support. So what is the next requirement for the uptrend to continue? Well, let's pull the book out again. It says for the uptrend to continue, we need to break past the previous high, which gives us a new higher high. So we have not done that yet, because we can see here that this was the previous high. So in order to get a new higher high, we have to break past this previous high, right? So let's slow this down to one candlestick. Hopefully I can do bar by bar, because I know I've got a couple candlesticks to deal with, especially on the day side of things. But just making sure we're not missing anything right now. Let's get to a smaller time frame. Now I got looked out of this position. This thing looks like it's not even done flying yet, but I did get looked out of this. But we're gonna break this whole thing down. But again, in order to understand what happened yesterday and last night, we have to break down where we was at the beginning of the week that led us to yesterday and last night, right? So again, we need this to be broken for the uptrend to continue. So when we hit the play button, we see that got broken, right? And this was on Monday. So again, if you go free signal, free Telegram, first link in the description, and you scroll up to March 30th and watch the Sunday chart analysis, you're going to hear me say this exact same thing. You're going to also hear me say that we're still bullish on GN, as well as you're going to see all the other charts we talked about in here going as projected as well, right? So when we go back to GN and we go to Sunday night, Monday, we can see that price broke this resistance level, right? It broke this resistance level, turned it back to support. So these lows are a little bit off because it's later on in the week, right? Those who do one-on-one sessions in the course, you know why we did this. But we can still see here that price broke these levels and continued to push to the upside, right? So again, this was Sunday night, and then this was Monday. Price flew all Monday, right? This was that Monday candlestick breaking those highs to the left, right? We see here, this was that resistance level. Look at the date, the 13th. We go back to right here. We go to the 13th, which was this high right here, right? We broke past that high. You see that? 13th, we broke past that high Monday, which indicated what? That the bull momentum was confirmed, and we still had the up in play, right? But we don't just need to break past that to give us a new higher high. We still need to what? Turn that resistance level into support, which is what happened the next couple days. Right? This was when price on Tuesday did that retracement and tried to hold this lower as support, but we see it failed to do so. Right? So then we go to Tuesday. What happened Tuesday? Right? This was Monday night Tokyo. Well, not even Tokyo. This was literally like 6 o'clock p.m. EST as soon as markets reopened for the buy. But again, what did we say? We had to break the resistance low and get a new higher high. We did not break that level. Price also didn't hold this low as support, as we see right here. And then that's when the retracement happened, because price failed, as we see here, to not only hold this low, but this low as support. So that's when price retraced. But again, if we go back to Wednesday's live stream, what did we say? We said we're still bullish as long as what? We don't break this level and treat it as a resistance. You don't believe me? Just watch Wednesday's live streams. That's simple. And what happened? Price did not break that level, which is why price ended up on New York session flying to the upside aggressively, right? Look at how aggressively price flew to the upside here compared to the retracement down. And again, this would have had a lot of people's heads scratching because they're like, what is going on here? And again, it's because we still had bullish momentum and price was trying to meet the conditions that needs to be met for the uptrend to continue, which is what? Let's bring the playbook back out. When you break past the previous high, we also have to respect the support level the higher low is resting on. All right. So let's hit the play button again. So again, this is when that retracement happened. But again, we watched Wednesday's live stream. I said, as long as we don't do what it needs to happen, we also have to respect the support level the higher low is resting on, right? So we have this higher low right here into the higher high. Did price break past this low and treat it as resistance? No. So again, this is why I said it doesn't matter how many candlesticks you see. It doesn't matter if you see the angry trapezoid, the happy flamingo, whatever the shit's called. It does not matter as long as these rules have not been breached. We are still in an uptrend. It's that simple, right? So again, a lot of times people try to overcomplicate trading. They think because it's so complicated or different when you first are learning it, that when you actually realize how this shit works, you think it can't be that simple. Like I literally had a couple weeks ago someone get mad at me under one of my videos because he was like, this trade breakdown is too simple. He was like, another simple strategy. I'm like, what did you want me to do? Pull out a bunch of protractors and shit? It's literally simple. But a lot of people think it's supposed to be complicated or a lot of people overcomplicate. It's very, very, very simple. We're in an uptrend, only look for buys. That simple. Downtrend, only look for sales. That simple, right? So again, we never broke past the support level, so this was simply just the retracement. And again, uptrends have retracements, downtrends have retracements. Right? Retracements are part of the game. But what move is the bigger move? Is the retracement the bigger move? Or is the pump to the upside in this case the bigger move? Same thing with the downtrend. Is the retracement the bigger move? Or is the pump to the downside the bigger move? Hopefully we can all agree the pump is the bigger move. So that's why it's important to, again, follow the flow of price and not chase price. Because, again, the goal isn't to catch every pip in the market. The goal is to go for high probability, high quality setups. All right. Let me know if you're following. Put one in the chat if you're following. If I lost you, if you have any questions up in the chat. But we're breaking this down, like I said, all the way. All right. But I just want to make sure people are following before I keep on going. All right. But it's very, very, very simple. Super simple. It just requires a little bit of patience and trust. But again, the trust and the confidence comes from seeing it work time and time again. All right. And I'm going to show y'all that in a second. All right. Those just joining the stream, we're breaking down GBP New Zealand right now. I recommend rewinding to the beginning of the stream because we broke down a lot of other stuff as well. But make sure to hit that first link in the description, join the free Signal, free Telegram. You see on your screen how we did last week. But not this. What do we got on here? Last week and last quarter. No, we got last month and last quarter on the screen. Did I update quarter? Is that the update? No, that's not the update. I got to update that. I don't think that's the update how we did quarter one. I don't think I updated how we did quarter one. Let me double check. So I've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. No, I got to update how we did last quarter. So while I update how we did last quarter, I'm just going to put it on y'all screen. So again, first link in the description, all you got to do is scroll 8 to second. You can see how we wrapped up quarter one this year. But I got to fix that. I got to fix that. I put the record down correctly, but pips is incorrect. So let me fix that real quick. I mixed up. Yeah, I see what I did wrong. I see what I did. I put the wrong thing. I put last quarter's record where last month's record was supposed to be. Quarter. Month. All right, now it's fixed. All right. So this is how we wrapped up Q1 this year. All right. This is how we wrapped up January, February, March. January we went 1703, catching 7,463 pips. February we went 1401, catching 1,152 pips. And then last month, March, we absolutely dominated, went 1301, catching 146,000. Yes, 146,592 pips. In the quarter, 44-5, giving us a 90% win rate and a total of 155,207 pips pot. All you gotta do is scroll to April 2nd. You click right here. It's going to take you to the beginning of the year, which you can see right here. This is how we did December last year. And this is how we started the year off in January. So again, we do 3 guys a week at the end of every week. We cut the month at the end of every month. We cut the quarter at the end of every quarter. And you can also see how we ended last year as well, 181 wins, 23 losses last year, entirety of 2024. Just 89% win rate, all 12 months combined. All right, so when everything is documented in real time, every trade we take, we break down live like we do here. That's what enter live. And if you go right here where it says subscribers, we scroll down, there's over 1,500 photos, over 3 years worth of receipts, some screenshots of positions, screenshots of signals, as well as student results, testimonials. So make sure to check all that stuff out. But yeah, so again, using the playbook and sticking to the playbook is how we got this win rate, how we consistently average high 80, high 90% win rate, and how even if our stop loss is hit, it's never because we are wrong. It's either because we got caught in a reversal or the trend change. It's never because we went for buys in the uptrend, buys in the downtrend, or sells in the uptrend. It's simply only because of the things we can't control, which is reversals or the time the trend is going to change. So again, y'all just joined the live. I highly recommend, I don't want to push it on, but you have to try to learn some shit. I highly recommend you rewind and watch the beginning of this live as well as watch yesterday's live stream as well. All right. So again, picking up where we left off, the steep price did not breach rules that will show us that a reversal or the trend change is coming into play. So again, we just simply stick to the playbook and understand that we're still looking for buys, right? And again, if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. Any charts, drop them in the chat. Well, then this is how it ended Wednesday, right? So we got a Wednesday. We can see here again what happened. And we was on TikTok live when the shit went down. We was on TikTok live on Wednesday when the shit went down, right? Broke Brothers level. It was that retest. Then boom, volume kicked in, blew through and canceled out this whole retracement. And again, look how aggressive and full of volume these candlesticks are compared to the price retrace slowly down. Why is that? Because again, we have bullish momentum and price is trying to confirm the bullish momentum by again doing what? Let's go back to the playbook. What needs to happen for the uptrend to continue? Exactly what GNs did now, but also what GN was trying to do all this week, right? So let's go back to the playbook. What's the requirements? We have to what? Respect the support level the high low is resting on and break past the previous high, right? So that's what we was trying to do here. We see right here, we were trying to break past this previous high, but we see we failed to again hold this level as support, which caused another rejection. Now, again, what does the playbook say about rejections and reversals? Rejections and reversals happen, but a reversal doesn't always mean the trend is going to change, right? As long as price doesn't turn the support level into a resistance and or make a lower low, we are still in an uptrend and still only looking for buy. So again, this is why it's important to not try to do everything in one time frame, identify the trend and enter in the same time frame. Because if you try to do that, this is how you get caught in this fake out liquidity sweeps versus when you go on a bigger time frame, identify the trend and flow of price, and then go into a smaller time frame, look for your entries and setups, you'll see a lot more success. And again, GN is still going absolutely crazy. I got whipped out of that. I'm gonna let that breathe for now. I ain't about to be greedy. Because if y'all saw the story on Instagram and TikTok, you see it scrolling the bottom of the screen, make sure to check that out. When I break down those risk to reward ratio setups, you'll see why, I ain't really tripping, because I ain't gonna lie, I made a stupid amount. So this is what I always talk about. Again, if you didn't watch the video I dropped yesterday, I highly recommend watching the video I dropped yesterday. because it goes hand in hand with what we're going to break down after we break down these charts right here. So I'm about to drop that in the chat again. GU just notified us. Let's switch to GU really quick. I was like, that's weird. All right, so it's still retracing. So again, we're just letting it do its thing. It's fine. We like retracements. So we ain't tripping about that. All right, so we'll just let guys do it. It's very simple. Again, we got a whole lot of news today. I always say the first week and the last week of the month are typically the toughest weeks to trade because we have the most reports coming out. And, you know, we can kind of see that this week as well. But again, when you understand how price works and you minimize your risk or maximize your reward, you can literally stay consistent and cancel out losses, right? So let me catch up to the chat really quick. What's going on, Michael? I see you up in here. Very solid trading style. Many things I have been watching previous videos as well. I appreciate that. It's called the playbook for a reason. I appreciate that. Yeah. So make sure to take notes and stay tuned because again, we're breaking this down literally candlestick by candlestick, bar for bar. All right. It looks like GJ's pushing now too. So again, if GJ can hold 160 as resistance, we can see sales going down to 190, possibly down to 189.30. All right. We're still bearish as long as we can respect and hold 192.10 as resistance. All right. All right. Cool. And all this is stopping people from trying to catch up to the party because again, the markets reward those that are patient and understand how price works. And this is why a lot of times, again, we try to identify the trend and insert on these smaller time frames, you get punished a lot more, right? Because again, even on the 30-second chart, after what price did yesterday, everybody's going to be like, oh, uptrend, right? It's very obvious now after price exploded that we're in an uptrend, but it wasn't obvious before the explosion happened unless you know the playbook or know the rules of price, right? Because again, we talked about this literally for the past few weeks, how we were still bullish, but we still was waiting for volume to pick up, right? So again, even on the smallest time frame that the price exploded all day yesterday, they were like, you'd be a fool to think we went in the uptrend after what GU did, right? So again, what happened? Like I told y'all, do not be shocked or surprised if you see consolidation and price retrace and reverse. And that's literally what price did yesterday. Right. So again, this is just punishing people that are late to the party and that are chasing price. That's all price is doing right. So let's go back to GN right here. So again, still bullish momentum. That's why we're still looking for buys. So then when we hit the play button, that brings us to where we're at now. So this is what yesterday looks like, and this is what today looks like. So again, yesterday was still wicky because just like here, right, we never broke this level and held that support. It failed to hold that support. And then yesterday, it failed to hold again. But what did it do last night? It broke and held this level of support, right? So again, let's go back to the playbook. Rejections or reversals happen, but reversal doesn't always mean that what trend is going to change. As long as price doesn't turn the support level into resistance and don't make a lower low, we're still in an uptrend and still only looking for buys. So again, do we see a lower low get made? No. Did we break past the support level here? No. We can literally see the wick showing we respected that level. But we also see the wick showing that we rejected this resistance level. But we are still in an uptrend because we don't see any lower lows. It's very, very simple. So, again, that's why I always say price isn't just randomly doing shit because the exact same thing it did Tuesday on the rejection retracement, it did yesterday on the rejection retracement, which is what? Failed to hold 27.55 as support, but also still respected 25.05 as support, right? And never turned it into a resistance, which is what made us go for sales initially when we was in the uptrend. Because again, you can see we was clearly going for buys and riding this entire wave up. But then when price again failed to hold these levels of support, that's when we went for sales. Again, so you see how the mathing and how everything makes sense, right? So again, when Tokyo session popped off, not even Tokyo session, because this was the New York session. So again, we see in 8 o'clock, right? So everybody that doesn't trade Tokyo on the session, they would have missed this, right? So they would have been going to charts at 9 o'clock. Most people go to charts 9 o'clock. They be trading New York session 9:30 is when it opens. So they would have saw this, right? They were like, oh, well, this is sales. So then when 9:30 opening candle popped off, which was right here, and I think we had news at 10 o'clock as well. So if they were smart traders, they probably waited till after the news also. So we had news at 10 o'clock as well. So let's just go down the timeline, right? Boom, New York open right here, 10 o'clock news event. Okay, hell, that's resistance. So like, yeah, we're going for sales. And then look what the fuck happened. Rejected, consolidated here for a few hours. 12 o'clock going into 1 o'clock, broke that level, held that support, and started to push his way up. And then this is when markets reopened. Held this low as resistance. I bet you people was looking for sells here. And then guess what happened? Do y'all see this shit? Do y'all see this shit? There are not a single red candlestick right here. Let me move my mouse. I don't think y'all see this shit. Right? Let me move this out the way. Do y'all see this shit? I don't think y'all see this shit right here. I don't think I understand what the fuck just took place last night. And this is why I dropped that video yesterday talking about trading psychology. And what do I always say about trading psychology? You've been following me for at least a couple weeks or past month. You've heard me say this about trading psychology. Most of that stuff people be talking about comes from over leveraging or the lack of understanding what the hell is going on with the charts. I bet you a bunch of people were pulling their hair out last night, confused as hell. Why the fuck price just shot up like this so aggressively? But again, watch yesterday's live stream. Watch Tuesday's live stream. Wednesday's live stream. Monday's live stream. The Sunday chart analysis. I have said the same shit the entire week. And again, it's because I understand the rules of price. So let's rewind a little bit. I'm going to cut you to the chat. Let that marinate. Let me know if y'all following. Let me know if y'all need some clarification on what we just broke down. If you guys got any other questions, drop them in the chat. When we look at any charts, drop them in the chat. I'm about to let that marinate real quick. I'm gonna catch up to the chat, and then I'm gonna break down the setup me and the members took yesterday. All right. So DJ's pushing. That's nice. Nas is still chilling right there. So if anyone got into GJ, congrats. Y'all should be up right now. Again, pay attention to this next price point at 190.05, all right? Because we don't break and hold 190.05, 190 as resistance. We're more than likely going to reject back up, all right? So let me cut you to the chat really quick. Sign up for the free Telegram as well. Do you show entries here only in the private Discord and advanced group? So you're the one that commented. I don't know if you looked at the comment, because I'm pretty sure you're the person that commented yesterday on one of my videos. Appreciate that, by the way. But I answered that question, but I got you, right? Because I know there's probably other people that are wondering as well. So again, let me go into the free signal room really quick. Right. So let's go into the free signal room. Bam. So in the free signal room, all right. Even though I tell you what time I go live every day, I'm such a nice guy. I still send the link out to let you know when we're officially live because I'm not on time all the time. I'll admit that. Got to get the computer and shit set up. But we go live every single day. And as you're listening, right, like with GJ, with Nas, all this stuff, I give the exact price points that I'm looking for entries and exits at. I give the confirmations I'm looking for before I pull the trigger. And I also say where I would not look for a buy or sell at. Right? I did that with Nas. I did that with the GJ. GJ's going as projected right now. Just broke that down with GJ. And then you watch any of the other live streams, I do that every time. So again, all the trades we take, I literally break down if guys well enter during these live streams. So again, you gotta pay attention to the live stream, pay attention to the price points I mentioned, correlating with the charts. If you got any clarifying questions, that's when you ask. But if you want to know exactly when I enter a trade, exact TPs, SL, and the entries, that is behind the scenes in the advanced play signal room. But again, literally every single trade we take, I break down, and that is will enter during these Monday session lives. But you're going to be notified as soon as I take a trade or any other setups. That is what's going down in the advanced play signal room. Also, what goes down in the advanced play signal room, we'll talk about in a second. But again, the free signal for Telegram, I dropped at the beginning of the week. The Sunday chart analysis going over. Again, you watch the Sunday chart analysis, you'll see that literally every chart is going as projected right now. Literally every single chart is going as projected. I go over the news for the week, and I go over my projections where I see price going throughout the week, right? Then this is also where I post my records. Right? So this is my trading journal a little bit as well. Not where I put my notes, my trading rules, but where I put my wins, my losses, recaps of the month, the records, and all that good stuff. It's also where all the receipts are, because again, we've been doing this shit since 2023. All right, so this is what the free signal for Telegram is for. It's for all the receipts, for all the naysayers. It's also to show you all the track record and help y'all keep track with what's going on the charts and the markets, right? You see, we're all the way in 2023. Literally everything is dated, timed, and documented, so I can't make none of it up. But if I want to fact check, this is what all this shit's for, right? Now, let me see what the other part of your question was. I don't got a Discord, by the way, so if anyone ever makes an account with me and talking about a Discord, I do not have a Discord. I only have Telegrams, right? I only have Telegrams. But yeah, but as far as entries and all that stuff, you got to be in the advanced play signal room to get all that, which you can see right here. You can see, well, you can't see that one. Let me go to another one. Right, so you see right here, when I send the signal out, I show entry, SL, my TPs, and I notify y'all when every single TP gets hit. And then I also not only notify y'all, so let me scroll up a little bit because I don't want to show what we're about to break down right now. So these are old signals, by the way, y'all. So nobody take these setups. All right. I do not want somebody to DM me after this live stream talking about, oh, you showed this. I'm saying do not take these setups. So unless you have the worst luck ever and you join this live after I said all that shit, well, I don't know what to tell you. Look at the date, right? So every day I drop the New York price watch list at the beginning of New York session, as you see, and it goes over the trades we took. If we took any during London session or Tokyo session, as you can see, I'm breaking. There we go. And I also go over other going into New York session, right? So I give an update on the trade we're in. I'm telling y'all what's going on, the situation, what prices to look for, what needs to happen for this and that to happen. And then I go over other charts that you can look for setups on as well. And just like I'm doing right now in this live stream, I go over specific price points to look for entries and X's at, as well as charts I wouldn't take setups at or prices I wouldn't take setups at, right? So again, you see the arrow, you see me breaking the shit down like I do during the London session. I do this every single day for the members and students, every single day. So again, not only do you get the signal I call out, but you get a bunch of other setups that you can take as well. And believe it or not, a bunch of other setups go as projected as well, which we're going to show in a second. We scroll down, right? And then we also go live at least twice a week during high impact news events. So I can show you that again. The news isn't scary unless you don't know what you're doing. And there's a lot of other stuff too, like there's pinned videos and messages, there's a student member group chat, but I'm not going to go through all that. So you got to be in there to see all that stuff, right? So again, you see this was me breaking the shit down, the GN setup. Again, we took this GN setup as soon as markets reopened. So I'd be breaking down the trades we're in. I break down the mindset, all that good. So I literally, that's why it's called advanced play signal, because it's not just signals. I'm not just going to call a signal and then leave y'all to figure the shit out, right? I want to make sure that you're going to be taking my signals, that we're all having a great experience, we're all making money, and there's as little confusion as possible, right? So that's what goes on in advanced play signal. There's a few other things as well. But again, you watch the last 2.5 minutes of any of my videos, I go over all the details of the one-on-one sessions, advanced play signal, as well as the course. But let me see what else you got going on there. Yeah, NFP is today. We're going to be going live with the members and students during NFP, just like we went live with them during ADP. All right, so we're going to be going live at 8:30. And just like the London session lives, if you missed them, they are recorded, so you can watch them. You also have access to all the previous recordings as well. right? So this is the advanced play Sigma Room 2.0. So you also get access to the old Sigma Room as well. So you literally have footage from literally 2023, 2024, and this year. There's over 3 years worth of old recordings and footage. It's just everything in there, right? But this is the updated one that I made last year. But again, you can see all the past New York price watch lists, all the past New York lives, high impact news lives. So if you can't attend them live, you can watch the recordings, all that good stuff, right? But let me see what else you set up in here. Testing, crazy. Let's put this back on the 15 because we can hold this level here. We can look for a revised setup. All right, so let me see. Main reason to join for me is exactly. Yep. And again, if you watch any of my trade breaks, we go to the trade breakdown playlist. That's the first thing I always say after, of course, I break down the trade and the stats and all that. I break down, okay, when I say, oh, now we're going to break down how you put similar setup like this one. What is the first thing I say in every single video is the exact thing. You identify the trend on the bigger time frame. Right. And again, it's not necessarily everybody's fault because when you're brand new to trading and you're sifting through videos, a lot of people, they do it on purpose. And I didn't know this until I actually, taught myself and learned how to fucking trade. But a lot of these people do that shit on purpose, where they do these breakdowns on the time frame they enter that and make it seem like they did everything on that time frame. So that's why a lot of people veer away from the bigger time frames because every video they see, nobody's on the bigger time frame. So they think, oh, I don't need to be on the bigger time frame. Or all these scalpers or people that say they only trade for 30 minutes or made this in 30 minutes, they aren't on the bigger time frames. So I'm not going to go on the bigger time frames. But I guarantee if they are an actually successful trader and they're smart, they are not entering and doing their full analysis on one time frame. I guarantee you that. Right? But again, they do that shit for a reason, mislead people and fuck people up. Right? So, that's why I always stress that. That's why I always stress. I'm not saying we're trading on the bigger time frame. I'm saying I know somebody listening to finish that sentence for me, but I'm saying we're simply just looking for the trend on the bigger time frames, and that's for that exact reason, right? Again, just think about stocks or crypto. You on any stock or crypto platform, do they pull up the 30-second chart to show you what price has been doing for the past 5 minutes? No, they show you what price has been doing for the past 4 hours, the past day, the past week, the past month. There's a reason for that, right? That's why when all these people are like, oh, this is the 30th consecutive day price for trades. Oh my God, the stock market is crashing. And I'm like, bro, the shit's tanked. The shit pumped for 3 to 6 months straight. So a month or 2 months of increasements is nothing crazy. But again, that's why I was important to understand how to read the charts and to play with. A lot of people are just blindly doing shit and not really understanding that. I talked about it in my recent post on TikTok, right? You know how people always say follow the money? Well, watching the news and looking at the percentages isn't following the money. Learning how the charts work is following the money. You get what I'm saying? But let me catch up to the chat, and then we're going to finish breaking this stuff down. If y'all just joined the stream, y'all, I just recommend rewinding to the beginning. I'm not going to lie. We talked about a lot of shit. We broke down a lot of shit. So, yeah, I just recommend rewinding, to be honest. But if you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. When you can charts, drop in the chat. I'm going to catch up to the chat, and then we're going to finish breaking this down. Make sure to like the live and subscribe, y'all, because I'm Playmaker Away. It's called the Playbook for a reason. You're not going to hear this shit anywhere else. When you start hearing it, you know where you heard it from first and where they heard it from. Right? Nobody's breaking it down like we're breaking it down over here. All right, like I said, I've been saying this since last year. I'm changing the trading game this year, and I'm not playing around. I'm keeping my foot on everybody's neck because I'm just tired of seeing the bad information. I'm tired of people just showing them whether it's real accounts or not, just making money. Like, that's not going to help anybody. If I could be at 50K subscribers right now if all I did was just flex my profit. And that's not going to help anybody because that's another reason why there's so many people blowing accounts because they see all these people. If you on social media, you're going to think the average day trader is making 1,000 to 10K a day. So when you trade, when you have a $500 account, the reason why you over leverage and shit is because you've seen all these videos of people making 5 figures, 6 figures a day, a week, that you're subconsciously not satisfied with the amount you made, even though it's actually a good amount that you made for your account size. right? That's why I always talk about pips, percentages, and risk-free rewards, because that's what is important, and that's how you're going to grow your account, right? If I made 3K yesterday, that does not mean you're going to make 3K if you learn from me, right? You have to literally have the same account as me or risk the same amount as me to make the same amount. But if you take the same trades as me and learn from me, and we catch the same amount of pips, we can catch the same amount of pips together, right? And we can catch the same risk ratio together, right? So that's the shit that's important. But let me catch you to the chat, and then we're gonna finish breaking this shit down, y'all. We're gonna finish breaking this shit down. Let me see what's going on here. What's going on, webinar? I see up in here. Sounds good question. Do you go over in your course about scaling multiple positions? Yes, I do. That's actually hilarious you said that, because that's what I did on this trade right here. So yes, I do go over how to scale. Yes. So again, if you watch my TikTok or Instagram story from last night, it's still up on there. And those watching the recording later on, as long as it's not Saturday, well, no, as long as it's not Friday night, it's still going to be on my story. Okay. So if you go on my story right now on Instagram or TikTok, you see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen, Instagram playmaker underscore wait, TikTok underscore playmaker wait underscore. You'll see why he asked that question, because I had 3 positions scaling in the, when I break down, you're gonna see why I'm chilling right now, because I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go live with the members, break the shit down with them. I might go live on TikTok later on today. I gotta check my schedule, see if I got any sessions going on later. But yeah, I'm chilling because this thing right here. But yeah, we're gonna break this down in a second. Let me catch it to the chat. Let's see what we got up in here. Looking forward to join the advanced group. Sound quality, at least on my crackling. That's just the live stream, right? So again, you watch any of my YouTube videos, or when I go live with the members and students, or you watch the Sunday chart analysis, I sound crispy clear. It's literally because I'm live streaming right now that it sounds like this. I only sound trash with the mic when I'm live streaming. But if you can't hear me at all, let me know. But sometimes it's gonna crackle and shit. But again, you watch any of my YouTube videos, my Instagram posts, TikTok posts, none of those issues. Literally just when I live stream. Because I don't fucking even know why. I know sometimes if I touch the wire, it'll act up, but I literally only have this problem when I live stream. So, I bought multiple mics before, and I don't know if it's StreamYard. My mic's not good with StreamYard. I don't know. I use this mic for everything else. So it's literally just a live stream thing. But if you literally can't hear me, let me know, and then I can fix it, because sometimes if I pull the cord, it'll act up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's StreamYard, if it's just simply when I live stream in general. I said that my main problem, I'm not just looking for signals, but I'm looking for only taking trades on more time for this on high time frame, crossing guidance and that. Yes. So again, like the signals, like I said, I don't just call the signals. Every trade I take, I explain why we took the setup, right? I explain why we took the setup. I explain what's going on with the trade, right? Because again, we take trades Tokyo and London session. So let's say we took a trade Tokyo session or a London session. When the New York session pops up and the New York price watch list, the first thing I do in every New York price watch list is go over the trade we're currently in, giving an update of the conditions, why price is where it's at, or why price is heading where it's heading, and also things to look out for in specific price points. And then I also go over other setups to look for as well. And then during the New York lives, I break down all the trades throughout the week, kind of like what I'm doing right now, but I go a little bit more in depth. I break down all the trades we took that day and for the week, answer student member questions, and of course we look and see what the news does, because you watch my playlist on YouTube titled How to Trade News. I prove literally every week that, again, the news follows these rules as well, right? News follows these rules as well. But yeah, like it's the signal room. So if you're trying to learn my strategy, you will learn the mindset and a few things, but you're not going to learn my strategy from start to finish in the signal room, right? And I'm saying that now because, again, I'm not here to try to trick people, and I'm not trying to, because I've had people in the past think, oh, I joined the signal room and, where do I learn the strategy? I'm like, this is not called the advanced strategy room. It's called the advanced play signal room, right? If you want to learn my strategy from start to finish, I recommend investing in the course or one-on-one sessions. The course literally breaks down from start to finish everything: how to read the charts, the rules of price, and literally how in the course, right? So not only do you have the playbook in the course, but I also break down how to mark off my key price levels, my confirmations for entering the trades, how I figure out my SLs, how I figure out my TPs, how to scale trades, how to trade news. I give my buy and sell limit strategy. I even give out my indicators that I don't even use anymore, but I show them how to use them on top of what I give a lot of shit out in the course, right? So again, the standard one is literally signals, but again, I'm making my shit better than the experience I had when I was trying to learn. Like I was in a couple seminars back in the day too when I first was learning about trading. And the reason why I do my signal the way I do it is because I had issues with the way other signalers do, right? What do most signalers do? They just call a signal, TP's hit, cool. TP's not hit, they don't explain shit. So that's why I call events-based signaling, because not only am I updating y'all throughout the whole trade and explaining why the trade did what it did, but I'm also, like I said, I showed a lot of other shit. And you watch the last 2.5 minutes in my YouTube videos, I know all the details of the advanced signal, one-on-one sessions in the course. Again, you have to watch to the very end. All right, I'm gonna go over it in the beginning, because if I go over all that shit in the beginning, people are gonna think I'm trying to sell to y'all, or people just gonna click off. So I go over what the video is about, but if you want to know the details, that's why at the very end, if y'all don't exit before I say, if y'all enjoy this video, I always say, if you want to learn how to identify these levels by seeing my mentorship program, put those links in the description before you make a decision. Let me tell you a little bit about those details. If you watch to the end, you'll hear about those details, right? So again, do not purchase anything without watching the last 2.5 minutes of any of my videos, or without asking clarifying questions, because I want you to make sure you get what you actually are looking for and not any confusion, right? Because I've had that a couple times. So I try to make it clear with all this stuff. Let's see about that. Yeah, I do go over scaling and much more in the course. And like I said, the revamp is going on still. It's dropping this month. I'm adding a few more things in there as well. Should I say it now? I got a few other things I'm adding. But that's a surprise, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. But I'm going a lot deeper than I am right now. Like, the course is about to be, the revamp's about to be stupid. I ain't going to lie to y'all. Let's see what else we got up in here. Very true, especially with all that. Yeah, don't even say that. I fucking hate when people bring that shit up. Makes you teach. Yeah, that's just. Yeah, but that's why a lot of people are confused, because again, a lot of people are too busy trying to sell and teach, right? I probably do something a little bit different. Like, I teach, y'all resonate with what I'm saying, or y'all actually see how this shit works, then cool. Come to the winning team. But I'm never about to, twist anybody's arms or pitch. That's why I don't really bring this shit up unless people ask about it, because the links are there for those that are ready to get right. Great, thanks for clarification. Got the links to join, no problem. And again, it is a sale going on, so do not purchase without using the discount code, because purchase without using the discount code, there's nothing I can do for you until the next month. Again, before checking out, use discount code Q2 for 25% off everything. Right, one-on-one sessions, the playbook events, play super, that's including the monthly, yearly, and/or lifetime, as well as the playbook course. And then also, you can use Q2 for 25% off the official playbook as well. Right, so you click this link. You can also use Q2 to get 25% off the price action technical analysis playbook as well. Everything is off as of right now to start off Q2. New quarter, 25% off, right? Because again, I rarely do sales. I do sales every now and then. So take advantage while we have the sale going down. All right. So again, we're about to break down this. Again, if y'all just joined, I highly recommend rewind it to the beginning of the live stream. So I'm not about to break all this shit down. I'll probably break it down if I go live during on TikTok later on today, but I'm not breaking it down from start to finish. But again, I literally broke down this entire move that price did for this week that led us to this point. All right. So now let's go to yesterday, right? Because again, what did we talk about with GM yesterday? We was looking for buys here, but we was waiting for price to what? Hold it as support. So we see here price failed to hold it at support. And this was London session. Price broke this level. When they retest, it held at support. We hit TP1 or TP2. I can't remember, but we're about to find out in a second. Right, so we're about to slide this over. And then we go right here. Give me 1 second. I'm just scrolling to yesterday. Give me 1 second. Right. So here's the signal. So again, we entered this during London session, 352 entry SL. You see the date. We hit TP1. SL got hit. Now I let the folks know. I said SL hit. Losses happened, but we're still up for the week. And we just had an amazing month in the quarter. We're breaking it down during the New York price watch list. And then again, every day we drop the New York price watch list. So what are we doing? We're breaking down GN. Well, this is GJ. I can't remember. But we broke down GN in this, right? And then also, this is why it's important to watch the New York price watch list, because even though this was a loss, if you would have watched the New York price watch list, NAS, gold, and GJ literally went as projected. Literally just like in the London session live. So we're looking for NAS sells, gold buys, and then I forgot I said with the GJ analysis, they all went as projected. Screenshot showing NAS turning to the downside as projected. Gold pump to the upside as projected. Again, using yesterday's London session live, I said we're looking for buys. And then we see GJ. This was the GJ sell. So again, this is why it's important to not only understand how price works, but to get your emotions out of the way and be ready for another opportunity, because you had 3 other opportunities to make your money back. And again, if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you know damn well I made way more than that back, right? So again, this is what GJ was looking like. You see the price. It was currently at 191.56. We look at GJ right now. That thing is at 190. It went as low as 190.09. So that thing dropped down over 100 pips. This is where price was at during New York session. Again, let's look at the time. When I dropped that New York price watch, it's 8:53 a.m. What was GJ looking like at 8:53 a.m.? It was looking like this at 8:53 a.m. So again, I dropped it. Price retested this level for 30 minutes. Could have got into that 1-to-3 short ratio setup. And then price proceeded to retest and dump all last night. So for all the people that say Asian session is trash, what is this? What is this? Right, that's why I always say the markets are open. Take that setup for your confirmations are met. Right? Then NAS. Let's go to NAS. What time did NAS do this drop? NAS did this drop pre-New York. But when we would drop that New York price watch list, 850. So let's go to 845 candlestick. Price retested, retraced, hit that level. Boom. Another 1-to-3. Another opportunity for the major bread back. And then what did NAS proceed to do? The rest of the New York session, and then last night continued to tank to the downside. And you watched the London session live yesterday, or the secret chart analysis. What did we say NAS was doing? Tanking to the downside. We look at gold. Again, we dropped it at 850. Boom. Price broke back above. Boom. All right. So we scroll down. Sent that voice message. I'm not going to play it. If you're in there, you know what we talked about. But basically, I'll just talk about what I just said right here. But I think I said a few more things, but I'm not going to play that. Then this was what? 10:08 last night. 6:32 when markets reopened. Right? 10:08. I'm showing them GN, what GN was looking like. I'm breaking down that loss. I'm showing what we just broke down. Our price still respect that level as support, and this is what price was looking like. So again, look at where price was at 10:08. So again, I'm telling the folks, look, GN is still bullish, and GN is still doing what we're looking for. 10:08 p.m. Then 12:04. This is what GN was looking at 12:04 at 28.68, right? So again, it's called a playbook for a reason. And like I said, when you stick to the playbook, hold on. SL is hit, and when you follow the playbook, it's only for one or two reasons. It's never because you're wrong. It's either because there was low volume or we got caught in the reversal. Again, low volume, boom. All right. So when we go to GM, it failed to hold that level as support, reversed. But when we go back to the playbook, what does it say about reversals and rejections? But let's go back to the playbook and see what the playbook says. Rejections and reversals happen, but reversal doesn't always mean the trend is going to change. As long as price doesn't turn the support level into a resistance and don't make a lower low, we're still in the uptrend, still only for buys. And again, y'all literally saw me behind the scenes with the members telling them about GN before I did this. Telling about GN when we hit this level. Right, let's go back to the picture. All right, so let's go back to the Vance Place sitting room. And again, if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, this shit's on my story right now. I literally documented from literally entering here to here, the whole process, right? So again, this picture was at 2868 right here. That thing flew so much. That thing flew all day. And going to the daily time frame, what do we see? We see price broke the highs, and now we see price trying to treat this resistance level as a support. That's what price is trying to do right now. And we also see this trade. Was we wrong to go for buys? No, it literally did the exact move and surpassed all TPs, right? So again, this is why it's important to understand what's going on the charts, because again, a lot of people would have thought, oh, I was wrong to go for buys, it's time to go for sales, and then would have been confused, our price shot up, and then they were like, oh, that was just a liquidity grab, or a bunch of bulls just came out of nowhere and decided to buy at this exact moment. It's like, no, it's not how that shit works, y'all. It's not how that shit works. It's not how that shit works. Again, just a quick Google search will tell you how much money daily is put into the Forex markets. We're not pumping that out. Us as the majority, we're not pumping that out a day. That is, we're not moving the markets, right? The banks, the government, the hedge funds move the markets. We do not have any influence over the markets. And anyone thinking we have any influence over the markets is sadly mistaken, because we don't. I hate to be the one to tell you, but I also love to be the one to tell you we do not. That's why the bear versus bull concept is, because we're not the bears and the bulls. We're not the bears and the bulls. Banks, governments, and the hedge funds are the bears and the bulls. We are not the bears or the bulls. We're not the whales or sharks. We are many fish in the water. All right? Not beat price. Just go on the markets right now, try to beat price. I guarantee you're going to lose. Right? That's why I tell you not to chase price before all the flow of price. Yes, when you are in the course channel, you get the daily New York price watch list, as well as you get access to the weekly. When I go live with the students during the New York business, you also get the link for that as well. You also have access to all the recordings from last year, the year before that as well. So you get access to all the past New York live recordings, the New York price watch list recordings, as well as you get access to daily analysis. So not only do you learn my whole strategy from start to finish, as well as you get the playbook inside the course. Not the actual playbook. I might throw that into the course as well, but the video version of the playbook. But you also get literally every single day at the beginning of the New York session, like 3 to 5 different setups to look for. I don't know who else is doing that. I don't know how you can beat it for life, because the course is literally, you just buy that and it's yours for life. So you get that literally every day for life. And there's literally people. That's why, by the way, members, the group chat is dead, because when you follow the playbook, there ain't really shit to talk about. Once you already answered your question, got your questions answered, there's not really much to talk about. That's why the group chat is dead, because there's nothing really to talk about in the group chat. Like, it's just business as usual. All right, like, I got members and students. Shout out to the OG. I have people with me since 2023, 2024. That they just been chilling. Right? They just been chilling. Yeah, so yeah, you get that shit for life. You get that shit for life. Yeah, so yeah, patterns So I talk about that in the playbook as well. So let's bring out the playbook. I got something to say about that in the playbook as well. All right. So first thing you have to understand is that price isn't randomly doing things, and there's no coincidences in the markets. I think we pretty much showed that and proved that during today's live, if not any of the other lives this week. Right, the charts are like a 1,000-piece puzzle, each candlestick being one piece to the puzzle. Do you think you can see the full picture with just one piece? No, which is exactly why identifying a single candlestick doesn't help you understand everything. Think about these patterns in the candlesticks people point out. Do they actually explain what price is doing or why it's doing it? No, they just say when you do this, do this. When you see this, do that. Right? And like I've been saying, all these patterns and candlesticks, that doesn't mean anything, right? There's an M in the uptrend, there's an M in the it's a W, but it's the same shit. There's an M in the uptrend, there's an engulfing candle in the uptrend, there's an engulfing candle in the downtrend, there's a doji candle in the uptrend, there's a doji candle in the downtrend, there's also doji candles that are retest confirmations, there's also doji candles that are reversals, right? So again, just simply identifying pattern, it's not going to help you. That's just simply one piece to the puzzle. And again, you're not going to be able to know what the full picture is by just having one piece to the puzzle. And you're also not going to be able to put the full picture together with just one piece to the puzzle. Right. So again, it's not everybody's fault because again, they just all these videos. Like I literally see, y'all probably seen the ads too. I literally see an ad, if not more than once a day or once a day minimum. Whereas this AI voice literally saying, don't waste your time learning how to read the charts. And I'm like, how the hell is it wasting time learning how to read the charts when we're staring at the charts confused? How the fuck are we wasting time trying to learn how to read the charts when we're staring at the charts confused? We make money based on the charts, we lose money based on the charts. All the confusion and stress is based on the charts. They got everybody pushing you not to learn how to read the charts because, as you can see, once you learn how to read the charts, you realize how fucking simple it is to trade. That everybody's making this shit complicated for no reason. Talking about the news, talking about this, that, and the third. They talk about everything but the charts. There's a reason for that because if everybody knew how to read the charts, everybody would be making money. There's a reason why they started doing all that shit in America to make trading harder for folks, and they stopped letting us trade gold, right? But that's all. That's for something. I'm talking about that. Members, make sure to join the crypto telegram. Make sure to join the crypto telegram. I'm gonna send that link out again this weekend. Make sure to join the crypto telegram because I'm gonna be talking about that shit in the crypto telegram. I'm not gonna be talking about that on YouTube live, right? Because it gets deep, but this is not the place for that. All right. So members, make sure to join the crypto telegram live. I'm gonna send that link out again. I'm gonna have the crypto telegram live. Make sure to join the crypto telegram channel. I'll send that link out again. If not today, this weekend. Because a lot of stuff I got to get y'all ready and prepared for. A lot of people are not talking about. Right. So I'm gonna give y'all a hint, right? Because I always like to give the people that attend the live streams a hint because as you can see, we got over 1K people in the telegram, but we do not have 200 views per live stream. So I like to reward those that actually take some time out their day to try to learn some shit. So everybody's talking about the tariffs, right? Everybody's talking about how stocks and crypto is tanking. But what is nobody talking about? What is nobody talking about? I want some guesses in the chat, all right? Because I want y'all to start thinking. What is nobody talking about? Everybody's talking about the tariffs. Everybody's talking about all the stocks are tanking, quote unquote. Everybody's talking about crypto crash, quote unquote. Well, what is nobody talking about? Let me see if somebody knows. I want to see if somebody knows before I say. There's something that nobody is talking about, and there's a reason. I want to see if somebody knows. So why I wait for a guess, I'm gonna catch up to the chat. I know I was talking for a minute. No, I don't trade like him. Shout out to that. Shout out to old dude, but I don't trade like him. Try not to say too many people's names here. I don't like to give free promo and stuff like that. But shout out to my boy. I don't know him personally, but he's been doing shit for a cool minute. But I don't trade exactly like him. He trades a little bit differently, and I don't even know what the fuck he do anymore. He be switching. He don't be posting that much. Let's see what's going on. All right, so nobody guessed. Why y'all be so shy to type in the chat? I'm gonna ask the question again. The reason why I want y'all to participate is because that's the best way you're gonna retain the information. If y'all just listen, y'all gonna blink. The weekend's around the corner. You're gonna forget half the shit we talked about this week. Versus if you type, take notes, ask questions, you're gonna retain a lot more information. So again, everybody's talking about the tariffs. Everybody's talking about the stocks are crashing. If you don't know, just say I don't know, right? But I want to see somebody guess or say I don't know. Everybody's talking about the tariffs. Everybody's talking about stocks and cryptos, quote unquote, crashing. What is nobody talking about right now? What is nobody talking about right now? Thanks for the discount, no problem. What's going on, my boy? What's going on? Bitcoin pumping right now. Let me take a look at it. Let me pull my phone out. Let me see what Bitcoin's up to. Let me see what Bitcoin's up to. Yeah, it's pushing. It's no longer at 83K. Yeah, it's pushing nicely. Oh, that is actually a nice push. I'm gonna drop an update this weekend on Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum. I'm gonna do an update on that this weekend. But yeah, it's pushing. So we might see something happen. It is a new quarter, so we're gonna see what happens this quarter. Sort of, but no. So no. Tesla is a stock too, but you know they're doing shit with Tesla too. So again, I'm gonna talk about this a lot more on the crypto telegram. I can't say too much on YouTube. Okay. All right. If y'all was in the TikTok lives, you see how they be doing with the TikTok lives. I should keep on getting cut off. Or when I be trying to break down how the charts where that should be glitching. But y'all see there in the London session lives, my shit's not glitching. But if y'all was in the lives last week and this week, my shit was crashing and glitching a lot. But what is something that you can't trade in the US no more unless you have a prop firm? Gold, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's fucking talking about gold. You think it's a coincidence that when gold first broke all-time highs last year, out of nowhere, they just magically said, oh, you can't trade it no more in America? No. Everything has been tanking, but gold has been flying all year. All year. Look, this is January. That thing, again, when we first broke these all-time highs, what did they do? Out of nowhere, we went to our brokers. We can't trade gold no more. And what happened after that? That thing has been flying all year. But nobody's talking about the gold. Everybody's talking about stocks. Everybody's talking about crypto. But nobody's talking about how gold has been breaking all-time high after all-time high after all-time high. Now, why is that? Why is nobody talking about gold? Well, members and students, we're going to be talking about that over the weekend. Make sure to join the crypto telegram. I'm going to send that link out again. Let me set an alarm because I know I'm going to forget. Normally, I know I'm going to post this. Set an alarm for... But they are not talking about gold, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a reason for that. Nobody online is talking about gold. Everybody's saying, oh, this is the 30th consecutive, another 6% down. Like we're not in a downtrend. Like that's the shit. This is like, again, all these people, they're just, a lot of these people online, they do not know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just fear mongering or just chatting it up for views and clicks. Because if we're in, I talked about this on TikTok, Instagram, you're going to be a little late to the party, but you're going to see the post probably next week. But if we're in that downtrend on NAS100, is it a shock that we dropped another 6% for the day? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? That I don't really get irritated. This shit's irritating because these are the same people that be like, oh, no, come learn from me. I know what the fuck I'm talking about and doing. But these people don't understand the concept of a downtrend and price continuing to go down in price. But that's neither here nor there. But let me set this alarm, and then we're going to break down really quick why nobody's talking about gold. All right, alarm set. All right, cool. So again, it's not a coincidence that in America, right before price exploded to the upside, they stopped America unless you have a VPN or prop firm account from trading gold, right? It's also not a coincidence that everybody's talking about everything tanking, but nobody's talking about the only thing that's been pumping during all this tanking and shit, right? So, if anybody understands the history of money, what was people paying with before the dollar bill became the dollar bill? They was using gold. And then what happened back in the day that's causing all this inflation and all that shit? The gold standard got removed. Stay with me now. They removed the gold standard, which means the dollar is no longer backed by anything. The dollar had value back in the day because it was backed by a piece, a little crumb, a speck of gold. Each dollar was not used the way it is used now. The dollar was used as a credit. That's why if you look at the dollar bill, I don't got my wallet with me right now. That's why it says some certain shit on there. If you read the dollar bill, it says a lot of shit on the dollar bill, right? But again, the dollar bill was not supposed to be used the way it is used now. The dollar bill was backed by gold, but when they removed the gold standard, the dollar bill became worthless, but people still found worth in it. That's why they can just print a bunch of money, and that's why when they print a bunch of money each year, the dollar becomes less and less more valuable, meaning things become more and more expensive, because if there's more dollars out in the world, that means it's less valuable. All right. So all I'm going to say is do not sleep on crypto. Get you some fucking gold and look into Web3. That's all I'm going to say. The rest I'm going to say off live in the crypto telegram because it gets deep. Right? But again, nobody's talking about gold for a reason. Gold's the only thing flying right now. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. Everybody thinks crypto's a scam, but let me pull up something quick. California DMV. This was last year. Puts 42 million card titles on blockchain. Stripe acquired the stablecoin infrastructure company Bridge for $1.1 billion last year during what? The pump. $1 billion. You think Trump's going to pay $1 billion for nothing? I got more. It's called the playbook for a reason. PayPal launched its US dollar stablecoin August 2023. I could do this all fucking day. I'm just going to do one more. I'm just going to do one more. Okay, Google doesn't want to admit this. Okay, so Google isn't admitting this, but you know, I'm gonna say the rest for off the line. I was about to go. I ain't gonna say no more. I'm just gonna let y'all's exploring minds wander and let that marinate. The rest is going to be in the crypto telling because y'all think crypto is just going to be down. It's not going to go up again. If you think all that shit last year happened for no reason, y'all are mistaken. All right, but I ain't going to say no more on this live about that shit. What's going on? You're from Germany. I used to live in Germany. My blog. Guten Tag. Did you have some groove on for me last year? Hopefully you had some groove on for me last year. There must be something going on as good as I'm telling. Well, I just said it, so I don't know if that was late comment, but I'm telling y'all, shit's about to go down. Shit's about to go down. I'm telling you, get y'all some crypto while it's low. Again, you go to my crypto altcoin analysis playlist. I tell y'all cheap I tell y'all cheap coins to stake, so you get passive income, as well as some coins that are important to definitely have. Telling y'all. Yeah, 1970s. Yep. The Trump is Bitcoin. Yeah, but that I can see that, but like, let's just say this, right? The reason why there's so much beef and issues going on with the tariff taxes is because of how much a lot of other countries deal with America or rely on America. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. There's a lot of deals and stuff that gets not just imported into America, but also exported, and a lot of money is made from other countries by selling and importing shit into America, which is why the tariffs and taxes are pissing everybody off, because it's stopping them from making money, and Trump's trying to keep all the money in America. And like I said, I can't say too much on this live, but there's a reason for a lot of the shit going on right now. There's a reason why a lot of countries are upset with the tariffs and shit right now, because a lot of shit's about to go down. There's also a reason why Trump and Elon are buddy, right? It's not just because Elon's rich and he's allowed to make rocket ships. It's not why. There's a reason why they're buddy. There's but like I said, that's going to be going broken down. But I'm telling y'all need to get y'all some crypto. Y'all need to get y'all some gold. All right, especially in America. Like I said, other countries, I don't know exactly what's going to be going down or how it's going to be going down in other countries. But if you're in America, not just the United States, but America, you definitely need to get you some gold and some crypto. Because if it goes down the way they have planned or trying to have things go down, it's about to get real. Like I just showed you. Spent $1 billion last year for kicks and giggles, right? A lot of shit's happening right now. A lot of people don't realize it's happening as we speak because they're very slick with it, right? Like I bet you a bunch of people didn't know a bunch of shit unless you live in Cali. A bunch of shit got moved to production. That shit just happened. Like I'm telling you, a lot of shit's about to go down. All right, y'all. But shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been live since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that's been live since y'all joined. Again, make sure to hit that first link in the description for the free support for Telegram. Y'all members will be going live in a little bit during the 8:30 news. So make sure to be on the lookout for that link. Again, everything is 25% off. Don't ask me how long the sale is going to last. Just take advantage while the sale is lasting. All right, y'all. Again, if you guys want to contact directly, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I see you scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. And I got a new video dropping for y'all later on today as well. So make sure to be on the lookout for that, as well as catch other videos over the weekend and after this live stream. And excuse me, I'll let y'all know if I go live on TikTok later on today. I most likely am, but we'll see. I have to check my schedule and see if I feel like doing it. But I most likely will go live today, but we'll see y'all. All right, y'all. Peace. We out.